rather share with you our experience at the John Gokongwei School of Management and how we integrate social entrepreneurship into the curriculum or the various curricula of the programs within the School of Management. First, just an introduction to the School of Management. The John Gokongwei School of Management is part of the Ateneo Loyola schools here in the Loyola Heights campus. The undergrad population of the Loyola schools is a little over 8,000 students, and the John Gokongwei School of Management has about 3,200 plus students. So we are the largest among the 4 schools here housed in the Loyola schools. The curriculum here for the students in the Loyola schools is very much, in a sense, dominated by a liberal arts foundation. About almost 60% of the courses are part of the core curriculum. Okay? So the core curriculum is shared across all students in Loyola schools, regardless of the major you're in. Right? So you could be a history major, a physics major, or an arts major, or a science or a business major, and we share more or less the same core curriculum. The only difference would be the math track, but otherwise almost all the subjects are the same. So building on this liberal arts foundation would then be the major curriculum. So that would make up about 40% of the subjects that are taken by the students. So what I'll be talking primarily here would be how we integrate social entrepreneurship into the major curriculum of the John Gokongwei School of Management. Okay. So now, social entrepreneurship in Ateneo, there are 3 ways in which we would manifest or promote social entrepreneurship here. The first one would be our academic programs, which I will describe in great detail in a while. What characterizes these the courses that we have embedded social entrepreneurship in is that the emphasis is very much heavily into enterprise development and direct engagement with community organizations. The other thing that we have done here was to create an Ateneo Center for Social Entrepreneurship. And it has 3 mandates. First, advocacy and training, research, and thirdly, social business incubation. Mr. Daniel Campo, the director of Accent, will talk more about this in tomorrow's panel. And last would be student organizations. Very important in promoting the spirit of social entrepreneurship. Here in the Ateneo Loyola schools, we have a very vibrant clusters of student organizations. And it's very important for them to support the advocacy part of social entrepreneurship. So they would be organizing activities such as talks, field trips, and competitions. Okay. Now, what we have here would be 4 different strands, okay, or pathways to social entrepreneurship. These are all provided in the 4th year of our primarily business students. So the longest one, the one that is most heavy, would be the first one, the School of Management Business Accelerator Program, which starts from the summer of 4th year and ends all the way to the 2nd semester. And this would be 15 to 18 units. These are for students who are very serious in enterprise development, and we've created within that social enterprise track. Okay? Now, currently we have 4 sections of students in the SOMBA program, and about 1 section of that is devoted to social entrepreneurship. Okay. The second track, the strategy formulation implementation track, this pair of subjects would be in the first and second semester, and these 2 subjects are actually required for about 2/3 of the students in the John Gokongwei School of Management. These are students who are more into the entrepreneurial track. Among the 7 programs, undergraduate programs that we offer in the School of Management, more or less they're into 2 tracks. We have an entrepreneurial track and we have a corporate track. So for those who are into the entrepreneurial track, they're required to take LS 126 and 127 during their 4th year. And what we have done was to take 3 of those sections and tweak the syllabi for those 2 courses so that they're more focused on social entrepreneurship rather than the more traditional for-profit entrepreneurship. Okay. The third strand that we see there is strategic management for development 1 and 2. And this used to be LS 126, 127, but over time we have evolved the course so that it is more, rather than startups, this is more of a support for existing social enterprises. And I'll talk more about that later. The last one, the one at the bottom, is a standalone 3-unit course, more of an appreciation course for students interested to learn about social entrepreneurship. Okay? So in a way, if you think about the way we've done here, we've segmented the student market here in Ateneo in terms of their level of interest in social entrepreneurship, right? So the longest one, the one that requires the most commitment from them, the one on top, spanning 15 to 18 units, are for students who are serious in enterprise development, and it's specifically for social enterprise development. Then you go all the way down to the bottom, the one that's only 3 units. And actually that social entrepreneurship we offer in the first and second semester. These are for students of any major, almost with no prerequisites, students who just want to find out more about what social entrepreneurship is all about. So let me give you a bit more detail regarding each of those 4 strands. Okay? So going back to the first one, the SOMBA program, students who go through this program will earn a minor in enterprise development after completing 15 to 18 units. Okay? So our approach here is that we want to provide a practical and experiential vehicle to incubate and nurture business ideas to a more mature stage. Okay? And you can see it here in the way how we have designed the courses. So at the beginning of the summer term, okay, we ask students to apply into the program, and preferably, and they have to apply with some initial business ideas, and preferably in a group if they would require a few other people to help them implement these business ideas. Okay. So their acceptance in the program, there's an interview process, and we have to see that these are students who are committed to pursue this program over all of 4th year. Okay. For them to go to take on this program, they usually have to overload in their 4th year semesters. Okay. So in the summer when they come in, they always would take a pair of courses in each semester. Right? So for example, in the summer, you would have the theory course, the Business Venture Lab 1, and that would be paired with the Business Venture Lab 2. Okay? So think of the practice part of that would be a certain output would be expected to be produced. Okay? The name of the course is kind of follow what is happening each semester. So the summer term would be a business venture lab. The first sem is a business development lab, while the second semester would be the business startup operations. Okay? And you could see here that what they will be doing during the summer of fourth year is that the students will be finalizing their product or service idea and organizing the team members. They will be presenting their proof of concept to a panel made up of faculty and industry practitioners. And they have to pass that defense before they can move to the first semester. Okay. In the first semester, students develop the product, further test the market, and they register the business with the applicable business government agencies. And then in the second semester, fourth year, this is when they roll out the product, they start selling to the public, and they try to establish the business as a going concern. These are samples of some of the projects that have come out of the SOMBA program. And what I've done here is just pick out the projects that are related to social enterprises. Okay. What we've done here for the social enterprise projects is that it's very important for us to directly engage the communities. And to do so, we know that we need to build trust with the community leaders, and that takes time. Okay? We also know that over time, we need to transfer the technical knowledge as well as the managerial sort of expertise to them. So what we'd like to do is to get community people to shadow, in a sense, the corporates, the structure that our students put up. There would be someone in charge, sort of acting like a CEO, someone in charge of operations, someone in charge of marketing, someone in charge of HR. Right? Students will be taking on these specific responsibilities, but at the same time, we know that we need to pass this on to the community leaders at some point. And then usually our point is at the end of the academic year. And our experience is that actually many of them are not quite prepared to take over the businesses. Okay. So these are the companies, the enterprises our students have set up, and these are the things that they produce. Some of these are still ongoing enterprises. Okay. For example, the Ingenuity, okay, maker of bags, planners, and notebooks made from water hyacinth. They have already evolved to become the Jacinto Illyrio company, and you can see their products distributed in many of the bookstores around the country. Okay. Now, this is what we are doing, and we hope to get this started this coming summer of 2015, is that we plan to create more directed tracks within the minor in social entrepreneurship, within the minor in enterprise development, and actually create tracks in social entrepreneurship and cultural entrepreneurship. Okay? So, so what you see here is that for social entrepreneurship, we'll work more closely with the development studies program. Marketing, they are getting licenses from government agencies and so forth. Okay. One thing that we thought was also interesting is the cultural enterprise track. And actually you can think of it as a kind of social enterprise as well. And the way they started was that the social anthropology department in the Loyola School of Social Sciences has this cultural laboratory every summer. They would send about 30 to 40 students to work in with certain Filipino communities. And the idea was to understand these cultural practices, document them, and then learn from them. And what they have noticed during these cultural laboratory experiences is that many of these cultural practices, okay, in the form of food, literature, songs, dances, even their places are disappearing. And so an idea came to them: how do we preserve their culture? Or how do we keep it going? And the idea there is that maybe if there's a way for us to create cultural products, okay, from that, then the income that would come from selling these cultural products would be plowed back to the community, so that these cultural products will continue to be produced, right? So think of, in a way, it would be a way of sustaining the weavers in the community, the songwriters, the dancers, the cooks who produce all these different products. So we're teaming up with the social anthropology department to create this cultural entrepreneurship track, and that department will be teaching the theory part of those courses. Okay? So again, each of these tracks will be paired up with that laboratory component. Okay. So that's Somba. The second track is, think of it as a mini Somba. So instead of 15 to 18 units, this only covers 6 units. 3 units in the first semester, 3 units in the second semester. Okay. It's very similar to the way how Somba is designed. So in the first semester, the students immerse themselves in the community, they identify the groups, the community to plan the business and train, and the end product of that would be to formulate a business plan. And then in the second semester, they sell the target market, strengthen the operations of the enterprise, and then turn over the business to the community. Okay. And this has been quite challenging for us because, as I said before, oftentimes the communities are not ready to take on the businesses at the end of one academic year. And fortunately, students stay behind or continue to keep in touch with the communities even after they have graduated and started taking on jobs in the corporate sector. Okay. And I think that's a testament to how students have developed bonds of friendship with key members of these communities to continue supporting efforts of the community to build up their own social enterprises. Now, something that we think is valuable in enriching the student learning experience is that we have created a way wherein one class of students, okay, one section of students, continue to be classmates in other courses that they are taking in the same semester. Okay? So what we've done is that for the students who are taking in the first semester, the LS126, we also enroll them into ECO 177, which is Theory and Practice of Social Development, Theo 141, Theology of Christian Social Vision, and Pol Sci 100, Politics and Governance. Okay? And what it does is that it gives them a more holistic sense of what's going on, as well as provide them additional skills in, for them to be more effective. What ECHO 177 does is that this is really a course on a large component that is social impact assessment. So they're taught the tools on how to measure the social impact of what they're trying to do with that community. Okay. Pulsai 100, it helps the students understand the power structures within the community and the local government officials that they have to deal with in developing the enterprises. One thing that we're realizing is that there are existing power dynamics within a community, and introducing a social enterprise into a community can become a source of conflict among community members, especially when it comes now to deciding how the surplus generated by the enterprise should be allocated within members of the community or across different community needs. Okay. There are also problems with the sustainability of social enterprises when local community leaders, such as barangay captains, change during that period. So the Pulsai 100 class helps them better to deal with that. Okay? And of course, the TO 141, that class helps them reflect their experience in the light of their faith. I think it's very important for them to see that what they're doing is very much consistent with their responsibilities as Christians and Catholics. Okay? That this is an exercise of their faith in terms of being co-creators and stewards of God's creation here. So putting these 4 courses together, we find that students are not only more effective, but they have a better sense, a higher sense of what they're doing. And I think that we'll see longer term effects here of students becoming more serious about pursuing a career in social entrepreneurship sometime after they graduate. Maybe not immediately, but sometime after. Okay. The country manager of McKinsey at the time said, "We'd like to help you, but our consultants are just too busy to be directly engaged with the social entrepreneurs in Enchanted Farm." Okay. So what we did instead was we created a class, very selective in terms of accepting the students into this class, about 25 to 30 students. And these students, this class will be taught by sole faculty, but assisted by McKinsey consultants and the more senior social entrepreneurs from GK. Okay? So it's a partnership of JG Song, McKinsey, and GK. And together, what this class will do is to help, okay, support social entrepreneurs who are thinking of expanding or diversifying their business. So this class will be doing industry studies, can help look more closely into the production setup, even look for some form of financing so that these existing social enterprises can go to their next stage. Okay. Okay. The last one. This is the 4th strand. It's a standalone class on social entrepreneurship. And again, this is really a class which tries to develop an appreciation on the concepts and practice of social entrepreneurship. Now, let me talk a bit about what we plan to do. Okay? One thing we realize is that all the courses that we have there are all 4th-year level courses. And we feel that we need to introduce social entrepreneurship at a much earlier stage. Okay? We can't wait for them to be fourth year. We need to start planting the seeds of the potential for social entrepreneurship as early as second year. So again, we have an existing curriculum, and we're trying to see how do we connect the dots, right? How do we put the pieces together so that we create a runway for students to start thinking about social entrepreneurship earlier and to start generating ideas for social enterprise products and services early on. And so this is what we plan to do, is that in the second year, our students are taking Philippine business and economic environment as well as principles of management. We want already to start injecting ideas of social entrepreneurship that early. We would actually get all our students to visit the GK Enchanted Farm and be exposed to their Center for Social Innovation. Okay. Then in the third year, since all our students have to take marketing subjects, what we'd like them to do is to do marketing studies on products with high social value. And then in the fourth year, this is where you see the subjects that I discussed a while ago. This is when they actually develop the business and test market and roll out the product. Okay. So basically, we would have, second year would be the ideation stage, third year would be the proof of concept stage, and then the fourth year when they actually implement their business plan. Okay. So we hope to get this done in the next 2 years. Okay. Of course, there are certain issues here in having this design, right? Questions like, what if the students, when they develop the ideas in their third year, when they go to the fourth year, they are enrolled in different sections because of our enlistment process. Right? So that means we need to change the enlistment process so that students with similar ideas can already pre-enlist into these different courses. Okay? Or for example, the marketing plan or the marketing study in the third year, what if the students break up and want to work with different people when they go to their fourth year? Who then owns that marketing study? Right? So there are certain practical issues that we have to deal with in making this work. Right? So for the next 2 years, we hope to get a better handle of how to implement this scheme. Okay. Then my very last slide here has to do with an idea or a process that we'd like to incorporate in all these different activities that we do that's related to social entrepreneurship. Right? So we have talks and lectures, research. We have student works, case studies, exposure trips, and seminars. Okay? And of course, we have those 4 strands of courses on social entrepreneurship. Okay? Something that we see that's very important is to have the spirit of service learning to combine all this. And the idea of service learning is that students do work that will directly benefit a community. Right? That is the service part. Okay? But in so doing, they are also able to fulfill the learning outcomes in the courses that they are enrolled in. So that is the learning part, right? So someone describes service learning as serving to learn and learning to serve, right? And then that's sort of the whole cycle that we are looking at. Social entrepreneurship taught from a purely theoretical standpoint, without the sense of developing greater civic responsibility would kind of fall short, and you will not have the long-term outcomes of developing serious and committed social entrepreneurs down the road. So this is something that we're very conscious also of making sure that students who undergo this do it in service learning mode, and there's always the reflection part of it, so that students are also more aware of what's happening to them, right? The way how they sense their future, their perceptions of social problems, the way how they will respond to addressing these problems. These are things that students are conscious about as they go through the process. And again, hopefully we can be more effective in producing real social entrepreneurs down the road. Thank you.